Dating, relationships. Most single people fear, will I meet anyone? The real issue is, who do I choose? How do you choose well? How do you partner well? Hi, my name's Kristen Hunter. I'm a clinical psychologist. We are here with Signposts for Living with Dr. Kristen Hunter. Should add that on because it's actually what it's called. I'm in private practice, and we've come along to talk about a whole host of areas that I cover every day of my working week that really I've found over time really resonates, and I've found where the value lies. So we're here to talk about all these very juicy clinical areas that relate to everyone's day-to-day life. And I have my very dear friend, Kristen, along today. Hello.
Hi, Kirsten.
How you going, darling?
I'm really good.
That's
really good.
That's good. Now, Kristen, to be clear, is not a psychologist.
No.
And she is here to humour this lovely conversation, aren't you, darling?
That's it. I'm just here for the laughs.
So where are you from, my darling?
So I'm from Western Queensland and co-manage a property with my husband in the ag industry.
Keeps you very busy.
And I'm a mum of 2 teenagers, screenagers, and I also do lots of volunteer work.
You do, and you do workplace health and safety as well.
I
so
do.
You know all of the ins and outs and all of those things.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
And just to be clear, poor Kristen has not been briefed at all with our topic today, so
No.
we're keeping it fresh.
That's right. It's exciting. I have no idea.
You have no idea. So just to be clear, you can catch me on kirstenhunterauthor.com, and we're going to get into it now. Fantastic.
Let's go.
Okay. And you know what? I've brought you along, my darling, because I just have so much fun with you.
I do it with you too. It's fantastic. This is it.
It is. So what do you think of the topic?
I'm thinking, where was this podcast 20 years ago for me? This
Yes.
is the podcast I needed.
Honestly, it is so true. I talk to clients weekly, daily almost, and they all say, will I meet anyone? Will I meet anyone?
That was me. That was my 20s.
Yeah, I know. And it's this constant sort of like a thought that I'm on an island and there aren't other people to meet. There's a lot of people out there. It's just you've got to pick the right one, because the whole point is to try to save a bit of heartache.
That's right. And that's so important, I think, because when you've come out the other side and you realise you will meet someone, to reflect back and make sure it's the right person is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only are we often going into it with a lack of life experience, or we're actually going into it with a lot of scar tissue.
Yep.
Absolutely. And, you know, how many people are very nervous on the dating scene? Their level of anxiety is right up there. I run groups, and the most popular group I don't know if you know this. Do you
I
know
don't know this.
Yeah, I do. I run groups. And the most popular one that everyone's kind of popping their name down for is dating anxiety.
That is so true.
I know.
If I had to date again,
It'd be terrifying.
it would be. Wouldn't know where to start.
Well, when I met my beautiful John, who is smiling at me right now, he's the producer, yes.
Yes, he's the
But he
producer.
doesn't have a microphone. He's kissing, playing a kiss right now. Don't say that, Kirsten. I wasn't actually dating. I wasn't looking to date at that point. Just he came along.
Well, when my husband came along, I had actually just decided that I was going to stay single forever. I was
Same
going
here.
to travel the world. I was going to have investment properties. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. I'd given up on the whole,
Had you?
yeah.
There you go.
Well, this is all too hard.
Yeah.
And then wham, bam, there he was.
Do you know what? There's a really beautiful phrase called pair bonding. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Pair bonding. Isn't that sweet?
It is.
Basically, it says that human beings tend to, of course not everybody, but they tend to want a pair bond. So they want to sit on a branch and they want to have another bird that just comes, and each day they come and they're together.
That's right. It's
that companionship. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So let's get into it. So I am fascinated by this. I would argue that when we're talking about relationships with clients, half the clients are coming in and talking about how they'd really like to find the right person. Yes. And then when we're talking about relationships, so this isn't all my clients, this is people talking about relationships, the other half are people coming in and talking about problems they have with their partner.
Yep.
We have a significant jump, So basically a lot of people in relationships, and if you were to say to them, what is your number one stressor, a lot of them will say their partner.
Yeah, right.
It's not good.
No, it's not good.
No. And when I say to them, so how well do you treat your partner? Do you treat your partner as the best in the world, with all the people in the world, with how you treat people? Is your partner right up there? And they say no. No. And how does your partner treat you? Not well.
Is that a symptom of our lives, how busy we are?
Oh, that's a cop-out, don't you think?
Okay, it's a cop-out.
No, what do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Sometimes I think that the pressures on our lives today, there's so much pressure, whether it's doing your job, being in your marriage, running your household, raising your kids, making sure the bills are paid, all that stuff, you forget about what is really important because you're so focused on that. And what's really important is your relationship and your partner. And it takes insight to reflect back on that at times. And sometimes it gets forgotten. It's really hard to get it back.
Absolutely. I actually agree with you.
Thanks. Thanks.
No, I mean, really, your partner in the home base, you're in the trenches together, aren't you? You're dealing with the day in, day out grind of all those stresses. And absolutely. And, human nature is complacency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we look at relationship problems, it's really people who get complacent with each other.
Yeah, right, yep.
And that's a pretty scary thing. But no, you're absolutely right. When we get really stressed, the ugly side of us comes out.
I heard somewhere yesterday or today that someone was talking about relationships, and they were saying that in a relationship, someone's the star, the performer, and someone's the audience. And a successful relationship, those roles can change between the two people fluidly. And I liked that.
That's interesting. Do you mean one person's more dominant and the other person's more submissive or
No,
passive?
I took it as one person could be shining and it's their time to shine, and their time to, and that other person is their fan and cheering them on.
Yeah.
And if you can swap those roles,
Yeah.
you don't want to be the star all the time.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be fun for the person who's fangirling or boying.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, don't you? Like if
Yeah.
they can swap that and celebrate in each other's joy and success and happy times, I thought that was really nice.
Absolutely. And, being in a really beautiful relationship or relationship in a good space, obviously, is when you really can celebrate each other.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? I've just started wearing glasses and I'm really confused. I'm wanting to look down at my paper, but I'm needing to look at you. How do you do this?
You don't have graduated glasses, do you? See, I do.
I need to learn these things. I really do. I really do. Okay, so I think a really great relationship is when you're with the person and you treat them the best and they treat you the best.
Yep.
That's the goal.
But is that practical to do that all the time?
No, that's the goal. That's a really good point. We're fallible. We have bad days. It's not going to be shiny all the time. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So here's a thought. If you were to have a road trip with someone, let's say a friend, male, female, and you were going to where in Australia, everybody, and if you were to travel around Australia for a year, how well would you make sure that you chose that road trip partner?
Well, the fact that you'd be inferring that you have to stick with them for the 12 months, you can't ditch them somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
No, you can't.
You'd have to think about that very carefully, wouldn't you?
You would. Absolutely. Now throw in the mix that you're meeting them for the first time. You're interviewing a whole host of people, because most people with their life partners, obviously, are fairly new to them. Not always, obviously. But so you're meeting new people and you are going to go on this adventure for a year. You're going to be very, very, very close quarters. How well would you interview them?
You would, look at me. I don't know. It would be a lengthy interview. The process, I'd have to think really long and hard about that. How would you do that?
Yeah. Well, this is a really lovely kind of way of thinking about dating, because dating is actually interviewing.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's getting to know the person inside, outside, upside down, and getting to know them when they're in a bad space, when they're tired, when they're grumpy, when they're stressed, when they're not on show, and getting to know them really well. But the problem is, of course, that when we're dating, our heart gets in the way and we become, flattered because they're interested in us. Our pheromones are going crazy. We're attracted to them. We're drawn to them. And we've got lots of hope. We're projecting onto them what we want them to be, which is a whole other conversation. And also our hopes for the future. So we kind of stopped interviewing people.
Yep.
That's a massive issue. How'd you go? I'm sorry, I don't know. Did you know that we were going to talk about your marriage today?
No, I didn't, but I'm quite happy to.
How did you go getting to know your lovely?
Well, it's a bit of a story. So we met each other 5 years before we got together.
Right.
And we were in the middle of nowhere, actually, and we just met.
Where were you?
North of Cloncurry in Queensland.
How far from Brisbane is that?
15 hours or
15,
something.
okay, just to give people perspective.
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of Australia, would you say?
No,
because Australia's that
Northwest
big.
Queensland.
Northwest Queensland, okay, right.
So we're up there. I was working on a place. He was coming to a 21st party that was on the property where I was as a guest with his girlfriend. And he and I were from similar parts of Queensland, so we sort of made that connection. And I hadn't seen another girl my age for 3 months.
Really?
So I latched onto her because I wanted to have a friend.
Yes, be my friend.
As you know me,
I'm not desperate.
I like to have a chat and have friends. Yes. And all I'd had was boys and men around me, so it was great. So I got to know her, and then I got to know him. It was over 3 days or something, you know. Yeah. It was a really good party. It went for a long time.
A 3-day party.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
There you go. Was that typical?
Yeah.
3-day party?
Yeah, because everyone's got to drive there, so it takes a while to get there.
Got to make it worthwhile.
So you get there the night before.
Yeah.
Got to have, celebrationary antics. Then you have the party, then you have the recovery.
So is the morning recovery continued alcohol?
No. It's
No.
bacon and eggs.
Okay. Just saying. It can be the antidote.
Anyway, I got to know Randall that way.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared off the face of the earth. We all went our separate ways. And
fell off the edge of Australia?
Yep. And then I ran into him at the races 5 years down the track.
You're kidding?
No.
Where were the races?
At Roma.
Which is what distance?
From there, 10 hours away.
10 hours away. That's fantastic.
And I said, do you remember me? And he said, no. I said, well, you will.
Well, you learned that he doesn't lie.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's a very honest man. So I reminded him exactly who I was. He went, oh.
How did you remind him? What was the summary? I'm the bubbly, gorgeous blonde.
Yeah, I said, I was that chick at that place that was drinking rum and dancing.
And he said lots of women were drinking rum.
Yeah, but not like me.
Right.
I stood out.
Did you?
And then I said, how's your girlfriend? And he said, oh, we're split up. I said, good-o.
We're good.
We just danced
Green
the night
light.
away.
There you go.
And I was living in Brisbane at that stage and drove back to Brisbane, and I said to my girlfriend, I'm going to marry him.
So Roma is 4 hours from Brisbane, yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I said to her, I'm going to marry him. She said, you are not. I said, watch me.
Well, you're a very determined woman.
There we go. I just knew it. It was just, I knew it. I just knew it.
Well, he's got a beautiful heart, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
He has. So when did you get to know his underbelly? Sorry, Randall, we're talking about you. No, so seriously, let's just talk about it for a second. So when we think about people, right?
Yep.
We've got our social sphere.
Yep.
Which is what we show the world, what we're comfortable with. And then we have our underbelly. And our underbelly isn't necessarily deal breakers at all. No. It's not like we're ugly on the under. But it is our vulnerable side. It's us when we're tired, when we're stressed. And obviously for some people it is an ugly side, and it's a side that they really conceal from people. And so the people that typically have a more ugly underside, they have a more superficial charm exterior.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it really is about getting to know people's underbelly so that you have an informed decision to say, okay, yes, you can be my life partner and let's go with this. So obviously we're all about interviewing the date. Keep going. Yes.
So, well, Randall and I had a long-distance relationship when we were dating, because I was in Brisbane and he was out where we are now. So that's 5 hours away from each other.
Yeah. How old were you, Beth?
Sorry. Really old. I was probably 27, 28.
What are you saying really old for?
Because I thought I was left on the shelf.
Did you really?
Yep. I was
That's
never going to.
ridiculous.
I was never going to meet anyone.
That is ridiculous. You know, from a psych perspective, we don't consider ourselves adults till we're 28.
Well, there you go.
Did you know that?
Well, no, I didn't know that. I knew.
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So prior to 28, we're really doing a lot of try before you buy. We're doing a lot of kind of experimenting with who am I? with our identity, and neurologically we're not an adult yet.
Well, funny you say that, because I knew that when he and I got together and it was looking serious, that if I had met him 5 years previously, I wouldn't have gone that serious with him. It wouldn't have appealed to me. His, I guess, being such a nice guy and being so easy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You were looking for a different type of guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
On.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew what I wanted at 28 when I...
Yeah. You had the maturity to say, okay, I actually want someone who's going to be a good teammate.
Yeah, exactly. He's a good person.
Yeah.
Treats people well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's a sweetheart. There you go.
And I really liked it that he read books, but he has not read a book since we got married 17 years ago. So I think that was an act.
What does that mean? Was he pretending? Or
I think he was. That was
his concentration.
I don't know what it is, but
he's distracted by you.
I don't know. No, it's not by me. It's Netflix. I don't know.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I love that. Okay, now I have taken a moment. Actually, I haven't taken a moment. I have stolen this from a book I've written. Yes, I've told you about this. So I've got these books, 6 books, Signposts for Living, and they're not out yet. But this is in it, and let's just go with that. Yep. So there are 4 top warning signs.
Okay.
The bad sort. Do not go. Do not go. And the first one is when they have poor insight, when they don't understand where they're going wrong, what their vulnerabilities, when they really struggle with saying, I'm sorry.
Okay, yep.
Yes. So I often have clients come in, I say, so, how's your partner at saying sorry? How are you at saying sorry? And it says so much, because it really says how their ego's going, whether they're prepared to say sorry, they can tolerate that. They can tolerate that we're all a bit of a mess. We're all a work in progress. And whether they're needing to have power and control and be the person who's right. So it's a massive, massive piece of information there. Have you noticed that about people? If they can't concede that they're wrong.
Yeah.
They can't,
Yeah, it's a major sign. Naturally it's a signpost for me, but that's because I'm old now and I've been around the ridges.
You are not old. Oh, my gosh.
But that is
I've
something.
got this gorgeous woman sitting across from me saying she's old. You really need to stop saying that.
But yeah, no, you're right. It's if they can't do that, that's...
And I've noticed the flip side of that is they're not able to have a sense of humour about themselves. You've got to
be able to have a sense of humour about yourself.
I know. You have to. I mean, we're pretty ridiculous, aren't we? Really.
Yep.
And you have to be able to laugh at yourself.
Actually, yeah, you're right. The people who do take themselves too seriously are terrible company.
They are, and they're not really good teammates because they're typically about themselves, their ego. And, when you've got problems, which all relationships, you've got 2 people coming together, it's almost like I often talk about it as 2 businesses that merge, and they both have got their different backgrounds, cultures, and you have to negotiate how you're going to come together and how you're going to coexist. And you're not going to become the same person, obviously.
No.
You're not becoming the same canoe, as I say. You've got 2 canoes cruising along. Don't become the same person. But you really do need to talk through how you're different to them and everything like that. And so there's going to be a lot of self-reflection. And if people can't own their stuff, we're in deep trouble. Deep trouble. So, yeah, laughing at themselves. But, it is really about saying sorry. That's the big one. Okay, next one. Ready? When people have got a very different public image to their home person, their true self.
Yes.
Oh, I saw your eyes light up then.
Yes.
What did that say to you?
Because that gave me flashbacks.
Your eyes, literally, I saw the white of your eyes as I said that.
And I've also got a very good friend at the moment that's living this reality.
Oh, okay.
And she's trying to work that out for herself. And yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So partner might be a different person on the outside world versus at home.
Yes. So when he's at home, he's pretty good, this guy.
So what? Say it again.
So when they're at home,
yes,
seems to be pretty good. When they're out and about, he seems quite distant.
Well, that is the opposite to what I'm saying.
Oh, is it?
But I'm very interested.
Yeah.
I'm very interested.
And so she's trying to balance that out.
So he's fine at home, which is actually his true self perhaps, but then he's maybe debilitatingly shy out in public?
No, very much I'm a party boy and I'm not attached to anyone in particular.
Oh, okay. We've got a whole host of different problems here. Okay. Well, that
Maybe
might
I've
be,
overstated that. But, yeah, that's
That might-
basically he's not as attentive and kind as perhaps
well, it's nice that
when
he's
they're out
lovely on
and
the home front.
That's right, and that's why it's so confusing for her because you're at home more than what you're out, and that's why it's so confusing for her.
Yes, absolutely.
And
That's confusing me. I'd have to sit on that for a bit.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm actually talking about the opposite. So when
Okay.
people are out and about and they're a bit of the shiny version, you know, they're Mr. Charm
Yep.
or Mrs. Charm, and they're needing to be that kind of Stepford wife, husband scenario. But then when they come home, it's like they just kind of like drop all that, and then they're not considerate, they're not mindful, they're not supportive, they're not a team player. They might actually be the flip side and be really quite ugly and critical and undermining. But then when they go out, they're just the adoring wife or husband. So a real kind of Jekyll and Hyde situation. Yeah.
and how do you process that?
Well, I think the real question is, where are their values? You know, so obviously they're caring very much about public view of them, and they're not actually caring about their own personal development or the person, back to number one, who they should be treating the best.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're getting into pretty murky waters there, which can head all the way through to full-on domestic violence, you know. So that whole street angel, home devil situation.
it should be so stressful as well.
Well,
You
yeah.
would be on tender hooks.
Oh, and they hate being out with their partners because they're looking at them and they're just despising the acting, you know. And also they feel more and more isolated because people don't actually know who this person is and what they're like behind closed doors. Sadly, this is not uncommon.
That's terrible.
It is. So if someone's dating and they start to see this, then they have to say, okay, I'm getting to know the person's true values here. Pay attention. Red flags. If
Put it into reverse and back it up.
get out of there. That's it. That's it. This is a no-go. Your parents might be right.
Yes.
That's an interesting one. I've got this mental note. We've got these beautiful 5 boys, as you know, and I've got this mental note. And this is not relevant, by the way. Can I just say that? But if they're dating someone that we don't approve of, I'm not going to say a word, because if we say not happy, Jan, they're going to go, well, this person's fantastic.
Yes. That's that's what I would have done when I was a teenager. If mum and dad didn't like him,
We're in.
he was fun.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, how about this? Now, this is not clinical, okay, but this is like a massive overview of a whole host of clinical areas. But I would crudely say that people are either givers or takers.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yep. That's a rough.
It is rough.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So those people who really, from their heart, they just love to nurture, to love, to support. They really want to bring out the person's strengths. They really want to hear what the other person's got to say.
It's their instinct.
It is their instinct, perhaps. It's their value system. It's core to who they are. And then there's other people who are the takers, and they're the opportunists. They're the ones that say, how am I going? What do I want? Me. And I think that, clearly the takers want the givers and the givers want the givers. No one wants the takers. So what do the takers do? They mask. And initially they start off with superficial charm, and they come across as the guy, the person, the girl that they know that the other person wants them to be, because they know that if they're their true self, that the other party wouldn't be interested. So basically when you're dating someone, you've really got to say, are they a giver or a taker? And check it out. Yeah.
Great advice. Where were you 20 years ago?
Let me do the maths. Every time I want to know how old I am, I have to ask my husband, John. Seriously, I don't actually know how old I am. I seriously don't know. He has to tell me every time, and he's always quite astounded that I forget these things. But they're not important to me. They're really not. Somewhere in the, I'd say, mid-40s.
How old do you feel, Kirsten?
How old do I feel? I've never felt very old. Well, you know,
Yes,
some
I
nights,
know.
some mornings I am, but not normally.
Yes, okay.
Okay, and the next one, I just put it in there because it's a real big one, and that is, your partner is the person who builds you up, doesn't cut you down. Now,
So true.
yeah, so, you know, similar theme to the giver and taker, but this one's the nuances of the home front, hey. Are they the person in your corner who's really in there saying, hey, how are you travelling? What do you need? What can we do? If you're not okay, I really care.
Yes.
Versus the person who is off in their own world, you know, she or he might be just busy on their own trajectory, and what can they take from you? So it is a giver and take it, but it's a bit more detail, I guess.
It's deeper.
It is, and it's disturbing, isn't it, that you can have a life partner who wants to cut you down. It's quite disturbing.
And that could be done without a conscious recognition of it on your behalf.
Yeah. And the more clever people are, the more they do it very subtly in a very manipulative way, and it's very hard to pin it down. Yeah. So it's quite disturbing.
And then to work it out, to admit it to yourself too, would be another thing.
Yeah. So I want to wrap up on a bit of a summary, yes?
Yes.
So when you're dating someone, there's kind of 3 areas that we cover, yes?
Yes.
So first of all, you obviously need to be attracted to them.
Yes.
Yes. So drawn to them. It's someone can be absolutely wonderful, but they're in the friend zone. Not good.
No, they've got to have good feet. That was my thing.
Good feet. Feet?
Yeah.
Does Randall have good feet?
No, but I still loved him. His good bits overcame his feet. So that's how I knew it was true love.
Okay, I'm not personally into women, but I really like female feet.
Do you?
I do not like men feet. Men feet
men can have the sexiest feet ever.
They really can't.
Yeah, they can.
How? I'm sorry. I'm going to go home and really look at John's feet.
Back to your signposts.
Rightio. The second one is values.
Yes.
And that's what we've basically been talking about. And then the third is trust.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's a whole conversation. And trust is also value system as well, but imperatively. Like, do you feel that if you had a flock of kids and you became, impaired, would they be in your corner looking after you? Do you feel really held and really supported by them?
Yes.
And that's really fundamental as well. Yeah. We've gotten very heavy, haven't we?
Quickly.
Well,
heavy.
I didn't mean to.
That's all right. We've kept it light.
I don't know about that. So when your kids come along, what are you going to say to them about dating?
There's 3 signposts, and go and see Kirsten. She's all over it.
There'll be a book out by then. Get onto that publisher. Get it happening.
Trust.
Attractive.
And what was that middle one?
All the values that we just spent the whole time talking about.
I'll just send them to you.
Okay. Well, that sounds really, really good. Now, I don't know if you've actually found me online yet, have you?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes. I've had a look.
Okay. Good.
I've even shared it a tad.
Have you?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, let me cover it now. So we've got KirstenHunterAuthor.com. We have got, what have we got? Facebook, Kirsten Hunter Author. Instagram handle, Kirsten Hunter Author. I'm on Twitter at Kirsten Hunter AU. I don't know if that's AU for Australia or AU for author. Pretty cool though, right? Yeah. We've got YouTube channel, Psych in Your Car. And here we are on, Signposts for Living by Dr. Kirsten Hunter.
You are so much at
there
once.
You go.
All that in one little package.
Oh, darling, I so love hanging out with you.
Me too.
Yeah,
with you, not me.
Well, my darling, I look forward to next time. Thank you so much. So much.
So much fun.
Oh, you're so much fun, absolutely.
Excellent.
Okay. See you, darling.
Bye.
Bye.